So we're all proud.
From nitwit to coal miner.
People don't understand anxiety is not just being nervous.
Whatever.
Hi, welcome back to another episode of Over the Edge. It's a podcast about anxiety. I do it because I'm really good at it. Anxiety, not necessarily podcasts. I have done some pretty cringeworthy things myself with videos over the pandemic, but I just met king shit a fuck mountain when it comes to cringeworthy videos. I've got Uriah, I'm probably saying it wrong, Wesman, with us today. This is a comedian who went to City Hall and wanted to speak. I guess it was the end comments, and he got up and he did a bit. He just did a comedy bit, and this is something that I think stepped up from reading "Loneliness is a Way of Life" in my wedding dress. This guy is like now the king of cringe. I'm gonna bring him up. This is Uriah. Hi, how are you?
I am great. King of Cringe is certainly what I want for my comedy. That's what every comedian wants. Is that guy is the king of cringe. So
They
absolutely
don't want-
fantastic.
Awesome. So I actually just came up with that on the spot. I was trying to think of something earlier. This falls in that area where, do you find where there's sort of splits of friends and family from where you're at, where they're just like, you know, funny, but that was too much. This is that space.
Well, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Zoom is always like half the time is interrupting somebody. That's why I don't do it with like 4 people. Then we're just all talking over each other.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny about this clip is this is nearly 3 years old. Like, I've forgotten about the City Hall thing. I don't talk about it. And then it's just in the middle of the pandemic, all of a sudden the video resurfaces. And when I first heard a video resurfacing, normally it's a comedian about to get canceled.
Mhm.
I think I'm the first comedian in a long time where a video resurfaces and actually helps their career.
Yeah, and you found that it's helped. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a part of it. I wasn't going to play the whole thing because what I'll do is I'll put a link to your YouTube and maybe get you some subscribers as well. I will just play a part of it because you really get the just from the clip. Okay, just 1 second.
Triple A. And then my car broke down. They say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. In this case, it wasn't my car, my dreams.
Sorry, I love the whole thing. Every time I watched it like 4 times all the way through. That was absolutely brilliant. And you did that 3 years ago.
Yeah, just about 3 years ago, and then I went there two more times, each with a different theme. The second time I went there, kind of just riffing and having fun with them. The third time I went there to announce my candidacy to be part of the city council. So I did a presentation video.
So the first time that you did it, were they just like, I love that too, because you just like own it, lean into it, and the worse it is, you just kept going. And like, did they stop you? Like, how did you?
So everyone gets the allotted time. As long as you don't swear or like threaten the council, they have to let you speak. And if you kind of look at what the previous people were saying before me, I was kind of a breath of fresh air. In the video is I actually say I never have issues parking. That is actually because the person before me was ranting about how they can never park. So I just was trolling them, but people probably don't get that.
Did you do a callback in that? That's hilarious.
Yeah.
It was absolutely perfect. And you've done it. So it was a part of 3 pieces, or have you done stand-up comedy in places that were inappropriate in other places?
I haven't. I wanted to. I actually was in the process of doing it. I knew somebody that worked as a bus driver for the Santa Barbara bus company. So I was going to do a fake tour guide type thing, but it just didn't come to fruition. But I do now with kind of people knowing who I am. I hope to build off of this. The more resources I could gather and help with people, the bigger and more ideas that I have in my head, I can hopefully let people see and people can laugh at it years from now.
And once you've done that, you can get away with anything. I jumped in a dumpster for a TikTok, and then I found like I could ask for anything on Facebook. I'll be like, I'm looking for lime and some rubber gloves, and like just ask for ridiculous things, and people look for it. And people, once you've hit that level, what does your family say? Like, do they think it's funny? Do they think you're nuts?
Yeah, well, my dad's talking to me again, but that's just because he probably want to cut of the money if I ever make anything. I know what you're
So,
doing. But
what's your oh, sorry. You know what? It is cutting each other off because there's just enough lag that. But then I don't know if it's just because we're comedians and we all have ADHD anyway.
it's that when I think about something like a conversation now, since we're not in the same room, I need to say it quickly because it's something I just thought about now. It's a joke that will only work then. So that's why this is funny. That I kind of think it's funny that you're a complete stranger who messaged me being like, hey, you want to go on the podcast and talk? And I'm like, sure. I don't look to see who you are. I just see you have some mutual friends. Yeah, you could be just trying to just catfish me into believing I'm at all anything that is worth your time, which I'm not. I still am flabbergasted that people care about what I have to say, and that this clip resurfaces because I don't do these jokes anymore. I've
Mhm.
evolved and I'm a better comedian now, and now definitely those jokes I have done are just over. Because if I go back on stage and I start telling those Canada jokes, they're gonna be like, "There's that guy from Canada again, taking our comedian jobs in America."
Okay, I'm so jealous you get to be a Canadian comedian in America. That would be an awesome place to be able to perform. Um, oh shoot, and I just lost my train. That's the ADHD. Oh yeah, you sound just like a comedian too. Where you're like, oh yeah, I did this, and I'm getting recognition for it, and I don't believe it, and you could be anybody, and that's awesome. You did so. That's absolutely brilliant, and you should probably. I think you should own it. I saw you were on other podcasts as well. Are you getting a lot of the same type of invites?
Not a lot, not as much as I was thinking. But what I did, and I guess the before the video was posted by the Penguins guy, is I actually was getting notifications that it got posted and was trending on the Cringe Reddit, and people didn't understand the comedy. They thought I was trying to get laughter. So what I did is I realized that if this is going viral and people are trying to understand the video, it's better for me to comment and take control of the narrative. So that's what
Yeah,
I did for hours. I responded to every comment. And once instead of being like, oh, fuck you, I explained it to people and people are like, oh, I get it now. I get it.
yeah,
So I always feel in my head, the internet's yelling. Even if it's a nice thing, I just imagine someone angry on the other side of the keyboard.
yeah.
So it was overwhelming, I think, because the first wave of comments were especially being alone in the pandemic were isolating, and I felt awful. I'm like, oh, is my comedy career about to die right now? It's just, but then what happened is another wave of people were supportive. So instead of me having to respond to the comments, other people who are now fans of me are defending me. I'm like, this is just a set I did at City Hall because I could get a video of it, because in LA it costs $5 to do an open mic. So I'm like, I could do this for free and get a video.
That is, yeah, no, that's awesome. Are you on TikTok? Usually the first wave is a bunch of people telling you how much you suck. And then there's a wave of people that come in and defend you, and I like watching it. So
Yeah.
I never get, but I learned that like I never get involved in the negative talk, or what I would do is just go and like all their stuff. And
Hmm.
so you kind of win them over, but always respond to comments, always take control of the narrative. I've noticed when I do that, videos tend to do, at least my videos tend to do a little bit better. Are you on anything other than YouTube?
Yeah, I'm on TikTok, but I don't. It's hard to. The thing that's difficult is I do everything on my own. I edit my own videos to podcast everything,
Yeah.
and TikTok is its own thing. I am on it, but my jokes and kind of to get my humor is more kind of long form.
Yes. You're more
And
of a joke teller.
yeah, and TikTok is, I scroll through it. It's like, it's great if you want to see like a teenager dancing and then police brutality and then an angry Karen yelling about conspiracy theories all within 3 seconds. So
Careful though, because I'm going to tell you, TikTok is different for everybody. it measures what you watch, and you just told me what you watch on TikTok.
I do have to feel better about myself. At least I'm
Yeah,
not yelling at people about not wearing a mask. But this is my funny thing about these people like not wearing a mask. I'm not getting political with it, but this is my funny theory. It's like, so they're proving a point to people by going out and not going into the store and then getting a ticket for $150. That's like if I was arguing with somebody online to prove to them that I'm right, I would just pay them $150. It's the same
yeah,
logic.
yeah. It's like you're hurting yourself. It's like anger. Like you're not really bringing it out. Um, yeah, no, that's ridiculous. And I have actually very strong views on that too. So I'm glad that you're not an anti-masker.
My dad is.
Uh, oh, is he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually really, really funny. I'm living in Victoria and I'm making my way. I'm just here for the pandemic in Canada, which is kind of nice. I was able to leave America where I have no health care and then come to Canada for the health care and then leave back for the jokes again once everything's over. But my dad, you have to take a ferry to Vancouver Island and there's a
Yep.
mask mandate, so he can't pick me up. So he's like, Uriah, I can't take the ferry. I won't wear a mask. I'm like, Dad, you're the one limiting your freedom here, not me.
He's one of those committed to the cause, would go down with the ship, fire me from my job. I don't give a shit. No maskers. Like that's
Yeah.
a different.
I mean,
Okay.
if he had a job.
If it, I don't know. I mean, you're talking to your dad. That's one step ahead of me. So that's why I just sit alone in my
Yes.
house and do podcasts about anxiety. Do you? I didn't even ask you. Like, you're a comedian, so I assume you have anxiety and massive depression issues. Do you? Were you struggling at all with mental health before, during all of this shit?
I mean, yeah, in terms of like, I think everyone has it. But what I'm really into is people being able to share that and be open to it and that it's not a bad thing. Like I don't think humans are meant to be these happy people all the time. We're not meant to it's okay to be depressed. And I actually had a theory that I don't think anyone can really feel like themselves and have courage in themselves before they're comfortable with being alone. So what I did is I went down to LA and I went to the Universal Studios by myself. And I gotta tell you what, I haven't been more wrong in my life. Who's
Okay,
this guy
explain.
sitting next to us?
What? So you went to Universal Studios by yourself, and you just.
Yeah, I just because of the way I grew up with a family of divorce and then my mom lived in 7 different states in 2 different countries by the time I was 7 years old. So I've been used to being alone. And especially with the pandemic, I was in my natural element. Besides everything being connected and social through comedy, is I'm okay with being alone. And I think if anyone what happens is I feel like that when I was in my early 20s and I wasn't going to parties or anything like that, I had this, I guess, FOMO, this idea that, oh, I have to go out and do something. I have to do this. But as I got older, I realized that loneliness is just like a construct that if you want to have it be something you have to battle with, then go ahead. But it's okay to be alone.
Absolutely. I lived in Vancouver, and I used to take the ferry over all the time. I moved to Vancouver on my own when I was like by myself, when I was 18 years old, and I spent 14 years. And I used to go to, I would go move. I mean, I made friends, of course, but I used to go to movies by myself. I didn't mind going to restaurants by myself. And I thought it was a superpower because the lengths that some people will go to that I was watching to not be lonely was horrible. So I thought, well, if I was on my own and I could enjoy being myself. The only time being alone ever bothered me is when I had to be through the shutdown.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the not just not being social at all.
Because
So
you're no longer choosing it. It's being forced on you. It's one thing to have that choice to be alone, but when you have to be and you don't want to be, then that's where the issues come from.
yes, are you locked down with people? Are you kind of on your own? Oh,
I
it's
have
the
a
States. You
roommate.
guys are having parties like you guys just found out there was a pandemic and you don't care.
So I'm in Victoria, Canada. So here
Oh,
it's they opened things up a little bit, but other than that, I have a roommate that doesn't care about my jokes, so He's
Oh,
not that
okay.
supportive of a roommate. I'm like, I got a new joke for you. It's like, do the damn dishes, you son of a bitch.
I'm in Ontario, so we're on fire right now. Like we've been in like the harshest lockdown, and we still have the highest numbers. I'm actually in Thunder Bay, so
Okay.
yeah. So I'm not even going outside right now at all. So
Mhm.
okay, so I'm gonna ask you just a couple questions. This is what I ask people when they come on. They're kind of fire questions. You can go as quickly or as sometimes they'll end up cutting you off. I'll just spit a bunch of questions at you, and then I'm gonna do it in a collage that's gonna look like an asshole later. Okay, so give me please a goal that you set but that you didn't accomplish.
Graduating high school.
When will the pandemic end?
Never.
Did you cry this week?
I I was overwhelmed, but I didn't cry. But also, it's okay to cry. If you're about to cry and you don't cry, that's like the body is trying to release chemicals. Like when you laugh, you're releasing endorphin. It's like hiding in a laugh. If you want to cry, cry. But I didn't.
It's like hiding in a laugh. You just described the sad clown, right? Um, would the world be a better place without guns?
Whoa, political here. I don't think a world like that exists.
That wasn't the question. Would it be okay? So a world like that doesn't exist. Okay, so say everybody on say there was a virus and it killed everybody except for a group of 20 people, and of the 20 people, you had like a I don't know, like a nurse, one that, a doctor, you have a teacher, you have a police officer, right? You have everybody, and it's a very small community of just 20 people. Should one gun be involved?
And it's the only gun that exists in the world?
It's the only one. It's the only
No,
gun
because
that exists.
that would be basically if somebody then has the only gun that exists, they have the ability to be a dictator. Not saying that all people that own guns are dictators, but I'm just saying it's easier to be a dictator with a gun.
Okay. Actually, that's
That's what the
pretty.
Constitution says, I think. I don't know.
That's
I
pretty.
never read it. I never read
I
it.
don't think any Americans watch this, and all we're not open carry here anyway. So I don't think anybody's going to be writing in. I don't even have an address here. Also, what advice would you give a friend who was really suffering, who would talk to you, and they're kind of in? Because I'm not asking for like a professional advice. This is just from your personal experience. What's the best thing you can think of to tell a friend in crisis? I'm going to assume you have comedian friends who are also having a hard time right now.
It's a case by case basis, but I'll say this. Do not say expressions. Do not say to someone, it gets better. Do not tell them what to do. Everyone needs to find it on their own. So I think as long as you're saying something from the heart that's genuine and not something that you can read on a Hallmark card, that's one way to go.
Okay, you're very good. You're like pushing like the. Okay, I'll ask something personal then. Have you ever been to the edge?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what brought you back? And the edge is something different for everybody. I've suffered from depression and anxiety, and like I don't have kids. Like I can go to the edge and I can go over the edge because I don't have a whole lot of responsibility back here. So I can kind of go and just sort of check out if I need to. And it's always a catastrophe. And crying my car seems to help a lot. But what if you're comfortable talking about what brought you to the edge and what brought you back?
This would have been a long time ago in high school, where school has changed so much since now. Like anti-bullying and was a lot different because I grew up in Montana, where it's like a rite of passage to be bullied. I would say what ended up bringing me back was I would say I guess maybe the term escapism. So if that makes any sense, it might not. Is I went all the way into watching professional hockey and movies and completely disassociating myself from where I was at. So at that point, I was living in Montana, and all I did is want to live in Canada with my people who enjoy hockey and all that kind of stuff. I don't know where I'm going with this.
No, I'm listening. You're talking about escapism. Absolutely. Some people do it with alcohol, food, shopping. You did it with, sounds like video games. You just kind of checked out, went into your own world.
And comedy. So I would say that with all this stuff that happened in my life, with divorce and then my mom with mental health issues, is I slowly realized that it didn't matter how fun of a person I was to like have a one-on-one conversation with. I could be social by just yelling out a joke in class. And that's kind of where I started building it and building it. And it only took going through a breakup, which I joke about, to realize that I should start comedy. Like I was so down at the bottom. And I think that there's also strength in that, to know that you're on your rock bottom. Not only will it not get worse, but you could go anywhere but up at that point, if that makes any sense. Also,
It
buy
does.
Doge. Use the same thing for buying Dogecoin, cryptocurrency.
But buy low? What do you
I don't, I don't.
you get it? Oh, okay. I do actually. I totally understand what you're saying, and I find that um, also those like comedians. A lot of comedians are driven to comedy because tragedy is comedy. Tragedy plus time equals comedy, I think, and it's a wonderful distraction. Um,
Mhm.
and I think I need to buy cryptocurrency now or something. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it is,
That's
but
really why I'm doing this. I'm just trying to get all the money I lost in stocks. That's all I'm trying to do.
yeah. Were you doing investing during the lockdown? Is that what you did with your CERB money?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I didn't get any of that stuff.
Well, you were one of those assholes on Reddit. That was, I don't mean like because they took down the stock market, but like how they went about it, which was brilliant as well. You didn't make a pile on that GameStop.
No, I bought AMC when it was low, but I didn't have a
Oh,
lot of money out of it. It was more of just smoking weed and just like watching stocks go up, and it turned into a fun thing to connect with people. And I kind of think that's what it was. Is there was people trying to make money, but it also gave all these people that had not going on something to kind of gather around as a community, to especially when it came to doing it to a billionaire, when you're seeing how good billionaires are doing right now compared to the regular person. So it was kind of like a small collective uh, goal to people to make money, also find something to do. And that's really why it happened now. Because I was surprised it took this long for people to realize, hey, let's all get together and pump up stock.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And the fact that they were too behind the eight ball on the stock market, like to figure that out first. That it was Gen Z TikTokers that got together and totally reserved the seats at a presidential at one of Trump's things, right? So at one of his rallies. So when he got there, nobody showed up, and then he was pissed because all these Gen Zs they did this on purpose, right? And then they're planning rallies and they're taking him down and they're trolling him. And I'm thinking, man, would somebody please get the Pentagon a laptop, because they would be able to prevent like so much of this irritation if they were just like on TikTok or something.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I just sort of went off a little bit there. So I want to thank you so much for being here and sharing that. And I'm going to put what is your YouTube channel?
My YouTube channel is my name, Uriah Wesman.
I did say it right. Okay.
Yeah.
I was hoping I didn't butcher it. So,
Most
and
of the time,
that's
it's
it.
Urea.
Or,
People
yeah.
see
Okay.
Urea.
And you have a podcast as well?
Yeah, it's called the Uriah Jokes Podcast.
All right. And when do you put up new episodes?
New episodes every Monday to Thursday right now with the pandemic. And then I don't know for sure, but it looks like I will be getting at least a small segment on public TV in Santa Barbara coming up here. So
Okay, oh, that's awesome. Okay, well, I'll be following you. I'm following you already. I'm one of your over 1,000 now, so get ready for all of those cents to start rolling in that advertisement money.
yeah, like 20 cents here and there. That will get me there.
There you go. Yeah, so thanks so much for sharing all that, and I'll put a link to your YouTube. And good luck.
For sure. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So that is it. I made like just a little mashup video myself, and I was just going to share that with you rather than posting it as its own independent. If you're watching it and you've watched this show this far and you know me, then you'll find this funny. If not, then you probably wouldn't have found it funny anyway. Um, and I don't even have it. So I'm actually going to end up having to cut this part out. All right. So thank you very much for joining us and have a good night.